The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Sports Channel. For more information about our network and to check our additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericasports.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
You hear the music, you know the show. You're listening to Ellis Sports on the Voice America Network. I'm in Phoenix, living like it matters, and I've got my good friend Mike Abadir is going to be on the line. I'm sure he can't hear me yet. Mike, am I correct? Still having some technical difficulties. Mike has been a friend of mine, a friend of the show, and been waiting to hear from him. Mike's got a couple special guests that he's invited to also be with me here on the show today. And what I would like for you guys to know is that I'm excited about this time of year in particular, because I didn't get a chance to tell you guys what matters to me. Of course, you're listening to Real Sports on the Voice America Network, where I'm living like it matters. And what matters to me is simply the draft. And the draft, of course, is going to happen this weekend, special time. There are very few times in life where dreams come true, when you can actually point to a time and you can predict a time and a moment where that dream is going to actually come true. And that's what's going to happen for a certain amount of young men this weekend. Some of them are going to get an opportunity to get drafted in the National Football League, and some of them will be signed as free agents. Mike, can you hear me by chance?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, man, Mike, boy, I apologize for the technical difficulties. It was not a dream come true for me to have this this difficulty at the start of the show with such a special guest like yourself. Mike, we, of course, have been on the show a couple times in years past, and it's always been around some prospects. This time it's leading right up to the draft. And it's just a special time, and I'm glad you can join me, because I like to take a different approach to this whole draft thing. You know, everybody is caught up in the analytics and statistics and things of that nature, but this is such a special moment to so many people. Community has become a word that is very special in today's society. You know, athletes are connected to their communities. The experience is something that affects the community, that has an impact on the community. And people like yourself, Mike, you too are an extension of this whole thing. So I just want to start off, let you have a chance to talk a little bit about SAPROS, your company. You guys are, of course, working with young student athletes and those who are already been in the league or out of at least competition in the collegiate space where they're free agents. But tell us a little bit about the company, Mike, and then I'm going to get into some good things. You started this company how long ago?
About 10 years ago. And, when we put it together, it was with that boutique service in mind with corporate results. That was my mission. That was my game plan. And what I mean when I say boutique, I mean where we've got actual relationships, friendships. It's a business relationship. It's a personal relationship. It's a team. And we wanted to make it a point that the team is the bottom line goal when we approach every single client, give him that personalized service that he feels that he's a part of something bigger, right? It's not just another client and here's your contract. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you in 3 or 4 or 5 years when you're a free agent and your contract is up for renewal, right? And so that was kind of the mindset when we started things off 10 years ago. I think we've done a pretty good job. I'm happy to say that I've been a part of several clients' weddings and special personal moments, as well as significant on-the-field moments as well.
Well, Mike, I think that's extremely special because sometimes I think people get caught up in the fact of looking at athletes as something that's beyond anything that's human. And one thing that really brought it back, if you will, let's jump over to a different sport, but it really made people understand the fact that these are human beings just like all of us. And we're looking at Isaiah Thomas, dealing with the death of his sister, and having to play a basketball game. So when you talk about the intimacy of your organization and the boutique in such that it's small and intimate and you are close to your athletes, I think that's something special. And to be able to stay in touch with guys even after their future's over with, I always can appreciate the agent that can introduce somebody he's pursuing currently with somebody he represented 5 or 10 years ago. And I just want to certainly, commend you for taking that into consideration as you work with your athletes.
Well, I appreciate that. And, when you're talking about maintaining that relationship, one of our key and most proudest services is actually post-career transitioning. And, we've helped guys land jobs in all spectrums of the workplace, ranging from coaching to media to, a Wall Street hedge fund, and everything in between. We make it a point that once their career is over isn't when the relationship ends. That's oftentimes when the most exciting aspects of the relationships really begin. Now they've got a lot more downtime and they're trying to figure out what's the next phase of their life. And, as you know, Ray, most athletes take it upon themselves to see it as a challenge and want to succeed. And, I'm very proud of the fact that most of the guys that I've worked with have been upstanding guys with a good head on their shoulders. High IQ type players are the ones I typically gravitate towards. And to see a lot of these guys, land really impressive jobs and to achieve a lot of success is very, very special to me. And in fact, one of the guys who's done very well for himself, in the coaching ranks is a former client of mine, Michael Petrie, and he's a coach over at Montana State.
Oh,
which
wow.
is a pretty perfect segue to how I was introduced to one of the guests that you're going to have in a few moments here, Chad Newell, who is a fullback special teams extraordinaire out of Montana State. And, he'll have a chance to speak with you in a few moments and tell you a little bit more about himself. But he's one of the draft prospects that I'm very excited about. But that introduction came through, a former client of mine, former star player at UCLA. Michael Petrie was the lead blocker for Maurice Jones-Drew and had an outstanding career. Actually, at one point before injuries, he was ranked Mel Kiper Jr.'s #1 draft prospect at his position. And due to injuries and things of that nature, he wasn't able to have an extended professional career or anything of that nature. But he transitioned real well into the coaching ranks and has done a phenomenal job for himself. And as you'll find out from Chad, he's had a big impact on Chad's career, and I'm sure for many years to come, his impact will be felt. But I've kind of digressed a little bit, but it's these relationships that live on far beyond the player's career that are really meaningful to me.
No, and I think it's important for people to understand the fact that as an athlete, former athlete myself, and in touch with a lot of current athletes, a word of a referral, let's say, is probably the best type of advice that one can receive from somebody who's been there, done that, and knows an individual. Most of the time, athletes are encouraged by their representation to reach out to somebody. Is much more receptive, or should be much more receptive, by the individuals being pursued if the referral was something that was just a person that said, you know what, I had a great experience. As a matter of fact, I tell you what I always say to people. If I can get a referral from somebody said that would say that if it were my child, if it were my son, or even today, the women are doing so well in athletics, so even a young lady who's a professional athlete, and they're seeking representation, and somebody said to me, I would have this person represent my son or my daughter. That's a pretty damn good one. So I think that's the direction you're headed, Mike, with the players that you've been working with, man. I've just appreciated what you've done over the years and the time you spent. And I, too, like to share those stories about the transition because it's something for a while, Mike. There wasn't a lot of support in terms of helping players. The representatives such as yourself, they normally, let's say in old school, they were on to the next person. They didn't have time to worry about what the guy who's no longer going to play is going to do for them because they felt as if he can't write me a check for representing him, he has no more value. Never understanding the fact that a person that continues with success long after his playing days are over with is probably the best referral and the best example of the type of representation that a player would want today. So it sounds like that's what you're looking towards. And we got a couple young men today that, as you mentioned already, Chad and Christian is going to, Christian Snyder, who is out of UC Davis, a offensive lineman. Both are going to join us. So were those referrals or were you hard at work to find those two guys there, Mike?
Well, so
well,
Chad,
I'm sorry. Let me digress. You already said that Chad was a referral from the coach. How about Christian there?
Yeah, and by the way, when I say referral, he just simply made the introduction.
I understand that, but believe me, I don't want anybody to misunderstand what he's saying. The coach did not. It's like this. Sometimes coaches won't even mention your name. I mean, they're like that. And if a coach mentions your name. And again, coach isn't getting anything out of it. Coach just wants to make sure that, there's some shady characters out there in the business, and I don't think there's anything wrong with a coach saying, hey, that's a good young man right there. If you're looking for somebody to help you with your contracts, and if you've considered him, I can tell you he's a good guy. Because, I mean, coaches, some guys like to say coaches are great father figures. That's okay, man, but a father is your father. But coaches are damn good men. They're good people. They're good friends. And most of the time they love their players and they want the best for them. So I'm not trying to clean that up. I just want people to understand that introduction from a coach, regardless of what type it is one that's pretty damn good, Mike. So that's a good one for you.
That's exactly right. It stems from their care for the player, and they want to see them in good hands. So, oftentimes they'll maybe make a suggestion or two or that type of thing. And, obviously on my end, it's always appreciated. And when it turns out well, as it always does, the player is always thankful for the intro too. So, all in all, yeah, you're spot on, Ray. But yeah, that's why you're the pro that you are, and on the radio, and got a lot of fans because you speak the truth.
Well, I appreciate that. And let me say, we got about 3 more minutes, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break, and both of the guys are going to join me, but we'll take one at a time, and then we're going to circle back, Mike. I want you to call back in after you kind of hear what the two young men that I'm going to speak to, what they have to say. And again, there is nothing special. We're just going to have a whole lot of fun. But I want to ask you a question before you go, Mike. 10 years you've been in the business. Football's changed in the last 10 years. Well, I mean the game itself, a lot of times when people say that, I don't like to hear that, but it has. I mean, I'm from the days where, I dare you to stick your hand out because I'm going to take your neck off. We don't do that anymore, but at the same time, there has been some aspects of this game that has changed. But in your business, what has changed over the 10 years that you've been in this business that was different from when you first got into it 10 years ago and up to today?
I think the area that's changed the most is, for me personally, my awareness, my greater and heightened awareness for the players' health, safety, and well-being on the field and what that means to them off the field. And, it's unfortunate that we've had to become aware of this the hard way through, several players who've, experienced severe, long-lasting head injuries that have led the players to do things, to hurt themselves, to experience memory loss, to have other experiences as well that are sad to see. And so because of that, it kind of changes my approach a little bit in terms of this. For me, I always counsel the guys to, make sure to not try to be that superhero and play through something that they shouldn't. If they need to notify the medical staff on the team doctor, their coaches, whomever, to make sure that they're taking care of themselves first. That's a really, really key priority. And then the other aspect is in terms of the length of their career. It's not for me to tell somebody what to do or not to do, but I do like to highlight to them that there is life after football, and to make the best of your current situation in the NFL, and to, do a good job in your local community, marketing yourself as a great player on the field, as an upstanding citizen off the field, to create opportunities for you once you retire from the game, so that way you don't feel compelled to maybe play it a year or two longer than you should have been playing it. So those are the areas, I think, for me, that I've seen the most changes in the way that I approach things, is really just in my mindset and mentality when it comes to that. That's probably the number one.
Well, certainly I can appreciate that, Mike. I guess you don't want to see anyone to represent that character that I believe Lawrence Taylor played on any given Sunday, where he wanted to stay and play, get that extra bonus to get that $1 million. Yeah, it's a little bit more important than the almighty dollar.
Exactly.
Well, Mike, I tell you,
no doubt about it.
Well, Mike, I tell you what, we're going to come back. We're going to take a break. You're going to join me maybe about 30 minutes from now. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Rail of Sports on the Voice America Network. I'm in Phoenix, living like it matters. Mike Abadir from SAPROS was with me, and we'll be back. You come back as well.
Your internet flagship station for sports. Voice America Sports.
So Andy Serling packed his bags, left the city, and is enjoying his temporary digs in Saratoga. But that won't stop us from bringing you Playing to Win, the best online handicapping show for serious horse players. Catch Andy and his great lineup of guests every week throughout the month of August, on location from the beautiful Saratoga Racecourse. He and his guests are some of the best in the biz. They bring you new insights to making money, and they tell it like it is.
I'm 3-5-1 in this race, but the 3 is very much the one to beat. We're going to completely disagree on this race. I absolutely despise her, especially at 1-2.
And it's anything but the same old horse racing show.
This is a 9-horse field, but really there are 7 donkeys and 2 zebras.
Playing to Win with Andy Serling, a show seriously committed to making more money at the game, but with a personality.
This is a dunce cap horse for me. If this horse wins, next week I got the dunce cap on.
YouBet.com's Playing to Win, presented by the Daily Racing Form. Look for it the day before big race days, mostly Fridays. Find a complete schedule in the Daily Racing Form, or click on Playing to Win at YouBet.com.
Have you friended us on Facebook yet? Why not? Just go to Facebook.com/Voice America or search for the keywords Voice America. Once you are part of our Facebook network, you'll receive daily messages about what's happening with our shows, this week's featured guests, and new happenings of the Voice America Talk Radio Network. And you can add your voice to the always active discussions on our wall. Just go to Facebook.com/Voice America or search for Voice America.
Your internet flagship station for sports, Voice America Sports.
Voice America Network. I'm in Phoenix, living like it matters. I want to thank my dear friend Mike Abadir from SAPROS for being on and sharing some background information about those people who represent, again, they're student athletes until they get that first check as a professional person. And at the level of being a student athlete, you really don't have representation. Nobody's there to speak out or speak up on your behalf. The NCAA has a set of rules of which you must abide by, and until your relationship with the NCAA is over with, you have to abide by that. And so you can't have somebody like Mike, who would be nice if you could have people like him represent players. But it's a new day, and it's a draft day coming up, and there are some people that are sitting around waiting. There's other people who seriously know that their last college days are over with. And that's something I'm sure a lot of athletes, like I did myself, you would reflect upon it being your last game or probably your last game at your university, but for some it was their last game ever. But the young man I'm going to have on with me, as a matter of fact, I have one with me. We're looking for him to do big things in the National Football League, and I'm sure he's hoping and praying about that. God willing, that'll happen. And if it's a draft pick, that's fine. But if it's a free agent signing, that will be welcomed just as well. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Chad Newell from Montana State and a fullback out there. And, man, they told me I was going to be interviewing a fullback. I got a little nervous because I remember those days running those fullbacks, and that's not a fun thing to do. But anyway, how you doing there, Chad?
Man, I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Oh man, let me ask you something. It's draft. It's draft week, draft weekend coming up, and let's be as transparent and honest as you possibly can. How are you feeling, man? Are you nervous?
Yeah, man, I'm pretty nervous. I guess just about the fact that don't really know where I'm headed. My whole life's gonna kind of turn upside down and in an instant, and going to be someplace new out of the state of Montana, which will be new for me. I'm used to the slow pace, the small town life here in Montana.
Well, and that's interesting because that happens to a lot of people when this happens. A lot of times people like yourself, myself, we kind of go to school close to our home, and now all of a sudden you're shipped off to some place you don't know anybody. But at the same time, it's got to be a great feeling to think that perhaps maybe what might have been a dream come true of yours to either be drafted or signed as a free agent is about to happen. For everybody, the dream was a short dream. It just happened. Have you been an individual that for a long time you've thought about being drafted and playing pro football, or did it just happen?
I mean, ever since I was little, I loved to play the game of football. It's always been my passion. First time I strapped on pads, man, I was hooked, and I mean, it's always been my dream. But around here, there's not a ton of people that go do it, so it's kind of one of those things where I went to college playing ball, studied engineering, and was just here to get my education. But as my career kind of unfolded, and the possibility of playing pro football kind of presented itself, and I had a lot of guidance and a lot of great people that helped me get to chase this dream, and now it's kind of becoming a reality. So to answer your question, I guess it's always been a dream of mine, but until recently, I didn't know if it would ever become a reality.
Now, obviously, there's some. I always talk about statistics and analytics and all this other stuff, but there's some pretty impressive things that you've done over the years to get the attention of some folks out there. But as you mentioned, not a lot of people from the area. Where's your hometown, as a matter of fact, Chad? Where are you born and raised there?
Billings, Montana.
So, was there a former professional athlete that you looked up to from your hometown, or are you going to be one of the unique ones that's perhaps maybe the first from their high school?
No, there was an offensive lineman named Colin Dow that went to the University of Montana, went to my high school, Billings Senior, and came out and played in the league for probably 4 or 5 years.
Oh, good.
But there's many others in the league right now. It's kind of, the whole state's kind of a community, so when you see one guy make it out from the state, it's a big deal for everybody. So there's guys like Chase Reynolds and Mark Mariani in the league right now.
But of course, they're not from your hometown. They're just from the university, correct?
They're from the other university.
That sounds like us, that school up north. So I can certainly appreciate that. Hey, let's talk about the nitty gritty of this thing. Playing fullback in the National Football League, it's one of those positions that it's almost like a lost art. But I assume you're feeling pretty good about it because there are a couple of people that are bringing the fullback position back. How did you feel as time came around and understand the fact you're a fullback and not all teams are, like I said, focused on the fullback position? Did you think that was going to perhaps diminish your chances, or because of your play and some of the things you've accomplished over the years, did you feel, are you feeling pretty confident about you'll get a good look?
I think that, just not only playing fullback, but playing a lot of running back here and doing some different things. I think I can get a good look just because I can play fullback, because I can play running back and just be versatile, and definitely contribute on special teams. I think that's kind of the biggest strength that I'm bringing into this weekend, is just the ability to do a lot of different things and learn a lot of different jobs on an offense.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot and read a little bit about that willingness that you have to do whatever it takes, and that's that special teams mentality. I know as a rookie myself coming into the league, I didn't start my first couple of years into the league, but I contributed on special teams. It seems like that's something that, hey, if they need somebody to do it, then you've got your hand up. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's how I got my start at Montana State. That's how I earned my scholarship here. So special teams is kind of my favorite part of football, if you will. It's something that I take a lot of pride in. It's not something that I dread at all. It's a fun part of the game, and I think it's very underrated, and it's something I love to do.
Well, I would agree with you, with the exception of one thing. You just said it's kind of underrated. And I remember back at a time where I would say you were spot on, because it did kind of go unnoticed. And I think maybe they did the numbers and we'll realize that 25% of the plays are special teams, if not more. And not only that, people were contributing tremendously on special teams. And so now you got all pro special teams players, whereas before we didn't have that. The early years of my career, we didn't have that. And now we have that. So I'm glad that they've taken notice to that. And there is a position for an all pro special teams player. But with that being said, I believe, did you get a chance to participate in the pro day?
Yeah, I did.
And talk to us a little bit about that, because, Chad, sometimes people are not really aware, and that's what's so unique, and I appreciate the platform here at Voice America Sports, is for you to get a chance to share your experience with some younger guys, because they're going to come into this experience and maybe not be aware of the fact that, this thing called this pro day either is necessary or it's not necessary. How did you feel going into it? And share some experience of what happened and what you did on your pro day.
I mean, with regards to being necessary, I think it's completely necessary for guys like me, FCS players especially, because it's your chance to go out there and turn some heads, and just assure people that you're the same caliber athlete as some of these FBS players. So I think my experience was, obviously nerve-wracking. You have about a 2-hour window to go out there and run drills and try to impress as many scouts as you can, we had 5, whether it's 5 or 32 scouts that are there. But, my experience was good. Was able to go out there and perform like I wanted to and get some numbers that I wanted, reach my goals, you know what I mean?
Well, I think it's important that you mentioned that there was, I think you said 5 scouts were there. In terms of those people that were participating alongside with you at the pro day, how many other people were there?
What's that?
How many other athletes were participating in this pro day with you?
There were, I would say, probably 9.
9.
That's
the point I wanted you to make right there, Mike, because to have 5 professional scouts there to only look at 9 players, that's an awful lot of focus that could be on those 9 players, as opposed to when you're at the combine and there's all kind of guys there and all kind of scouts there. When you got those 5 guys there, and there's only 9 of you, you guys get a really good chance to really showcase your skills. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, I think it was a great opportunity. Everything you did was, you had 10 eyes on you. You had all 5 scouts staring right at you. So any slip up, they were noticing. But at the same time, anything that you did that you were pleased with or things like that, they were right there to see it, and there was nothing being missed.
I want to take a little time here, if we can, to look back up on your career and share with us, if you will, how special it was to you and having the chance to play there at Montana State and your teammates and your coaches and the fans. Just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, Montana State is it's a special place. The town of Bozeman is a special place. I mean, there's about 30,000 people here that live in Bozeman, and we get about 21,000 every Saturday out at Bobcat Stadium. So it's a big deal to play at Montana State or even University of Montana when you're from the state and you kind of know what these programs are about. That's kind of the dream for every kid at Montana. You don't dream of, playing Pac-12 or SEC. You kind of just, your dream is to play for University of Montana or to be a Bobcat at Montana State. And to be able to live that dream and obviously get my education paid for and just be a part of this special place of Bozeman and play in front of all those people and just connect with 21,000 people every Saturday for 4 years was amazing.
Well, I'm sure that those people appreciated everything that you did, and I certainly appreciate the fact that you're able to stop by here and share a couple of words with us. I'm going to wish you the best of luck. It's nothing like being drafted. I was very late in the draft, next to the last person, but being drafted was special. If you don't get drafted, also just want to wish you the best of luck as a free agent, because once you put on the uniform, once you're out there on the field, man, nobody cares about what round you're drafted in or any of that. You know what it's all about. It's about just doing out there and doing the best you can for your team and for yourself. So good luck to you. God bless you. Stay healthy. And once you sign, you got to come back on the show and we got to talk some more about how football is treating you.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Okay. Thanks so much, Chad. We're going to take a break. You've been listening to Ray Ellis Sports on the Voice America Network. I'm in Phoenix, living like it matters. Chad Newell, Montana State fullback, looking to become a National Football League football player. We'll be right back.
Your internet flagship station for sports, Voice America Sports.
Who do you feel the most important person is on a sports team? Is it the captain, the star player, or the fan? While it could truly be any of these individuals, more often than not, it's the coach. Listen for A Coach's Spirit with hosts Blake Rockwell and Kendall Allen. A Coach's Spirit offers a look into the human side of coaching and a chance to learn from some of the most impactful leaders in the game. Tune in every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Sports Channel.
If you're looking for more information on firearms and the shooting sports, check out Taking Stock with Kelly McMillan. Kelly is the owner of McMillan Fiberglass Stocks with over 40 years of experience. Now he's ready to share some industry luminaries and their perspectives with you. If you're interested in firearms, whether it be for shooting, for fun, competition, hunting, or self-defense, Kelly is here to share his wisdom and experience. Listen live for Taking Stock with Kelly McMillan, Fridays at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Sports Channel.
Do you love sports talk? Can't get enough sports talk? Have we got a show for you? It's about the NFL training camps, Super Bowl previews, a look at the new starting quarterbacks, and weekly key injuries. We'll take your calls and emails right on the air. Former Philadelphia Eagle James Loving is your host, and you never know who'll drop by for a co-host spot or an interview on the spot. Tune in to Loving That Sports Talk with James Loving every Wednesday at noon Pacific Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Sports Channel.
Your internet flagship station for sports, Voice America Sports.
All right, you hear the music, you know the show. Listen to Ray Ellis Sports on the Voice America Network. I'm in Phoenix, living like it matters. And, first I start off with, the man himself, and that's Mike Abadir, who represents these fine young men. But then Mike first sends a fullback at me, and now he sends an offensive lineman at me. And strong safeties, we just don't like that. That makes life hard for us. But I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to have fun. So joining me now from UC Davis, offensive lineman, Christian Snyder. Christian, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm always worried when a lineman's doing good because that means I'm going to have a bad day, man, because you guys just don't take it easy on the strong safeties. But I want to ask you to do that today. Be kind and gentle with me, but I don't expect you to do that when it's time for you to put that jersey on and strap those cleats up and get ready to go. But before you do all that, I'm sure, just as I had a conversation with Chad, the nerves have to be almost at full throttle right now. How are you feeling? Are you able to relax?
Yeah, I mean, I'm relaxing. Mike's been super cool and super communicative with me, telling me to just, have a level head. I know that he knows, I know this is a really nerve-wracking time, like not knowing what's coming up next. But, I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm focused. I'm going to keep preparing, whatever happens, and I'm going to be ready when that chance comes for me.
Well, I think that's a great attitude to have because I know, it was years and years and decades ago when I went through the experience, and I think probably what people did less of back then than they do now is to actually prepare the athlete to say, you've done everything you can do. I, as your representative, I've done everything I can do. Now it truly is out of our control, and there's nothing we can do but just sit and wait and relax. And what I like about Mike is Mike doesn't make any promises. Mike's not telling you he's a rainmaker and he can make this happen. So you're going in with your eyes open, obviously your ears, and anticipating that if I'm drafted, that's fine. If I'm a free agent, that's fine. But you're ready to play football. Does it make a difference, who makes the call to you, or you just want to get a call?
Honestly, like I told Mike, I'm just honestly excited for the opportunity. Not many people get to go to this next level and play in the NFL and say that they've been part of the NFL, So I'm just excited for this opportunity, and whoever gives me that shot, I'm going to be willing and ready to put on the pads and do what they need me to.
Now, you're an offensive lineman, and a lot of times nowadays, offensive linemen are so athletic. You guys can play across the line. Guards can play center can play guards. Some guys can play left tackle and right tackle. If it's your choice, where would you like to line up at?
Well, I started my career at UC Davis at right tackle. I played my first 3 years there, and then my senior year, I switched over to left tackle. Personally, for me, I love the challenge and the athleticism that I saw on the defensive side of the ball from left tackle. So I think right now that's why I would love to play. But like you said, I've taken reps at both guards. I've taken a couple reps at center. So I'm trying to make myself as versatile as possible, for a team, to make myself more useful wherever I'm needed.
Now, you mentioned something about athleticism, and that's something that we're seeing more and more, particularly in offensive linemen, is athleticism. In your mind, describe to those out there listening athleticism. Tell them exactly what do you mean by that. A big offensive lineman that has the ability to do what better than a guy maybe who doesn't have a lot of athleticism?
I mean, I just feel like being able to move in a tight space. I mean, the defensive ends, the linebackers, the strong safeties, everybody's getting so fast nowadays and so quick that being as big as we are, we have to be able to move and change direction really fast to keep up with the defensive guys on the side of the ball. So I think just being able to move in tight spaces, staying balanced, I think is super key to being athletic, especially on the offensive line side. And so just those type of things, being able to stay under control, be quick in those little short areas.
So, Christian, how much in today's football, seeing it's so much of a passing game, how much in the area of strength and weakness your run blocking? Is that something you look forward to doing? The offensive linemen back in the day used to love when it's a running play, man, because they get a chance to tee off on somebody. How do you feel about that?
I personally love run blocking, honestly. Pass blocking is fun, it's nice. But run blocking is definitely what I look forward to, and that's something that I try to pride the offensive line here at UC Davis in, is like when our name is called to run the ball, like we take pride in, bringing that toughness out on the team and breaking the will of the defense. So that's something I really look forward to and I really enjoy about playing offensive line.
That's kind of hard. Well, not hard, but that's a unique perspective to take because in the past, and even currently, people always have described the offensive linemen as being, the big teddy bears, nice guys, the kind that you want your kid, they can throw your baby up, won't drop your baby, but the defensive linemen have been the nasty guys. Have you guys kind of, in your own way, developed a personality where you're just as mean and nasty as a defensive lineman? We just don't know it. It just doesn't show.
We have to be. I mean, that's something that I think has definitely changed. And like you said, the defensive line guys are nasty. They're tough. And we had to, and I think we do a great job of coming back and being the same type and sometimes even better. We have to match that and exceed that if we want the running game to work, if we want to be able to pass protect, to protect our quarterback, and to make sure the running back gets where he needs to go. So I think that's something that's definitely changed, and that's something that, like I said, I tried to bring to the UC Davis offensive line as much as I could.
Let's talk about your experience at UC Davis. What do you think that was special about your experience there that you like to share with somebody else? Was it who you played against, who you practiced against every day in practice? Was it your competition? Was it the coaching staff? Was it the environment? Was it the schedule? What was kind of unique and special to you that you think it helped get you prepared for the National Football League?
I mean, UC Davis is a great school in itself. And football-wise, I was blessed to go against some really good competition. Like you had Chad on earlier, we got to play Montana State. We got to play Montana, who always had great talent. Every year I've been here, we've gotten to play an FBS team. We had Oregon this year, Stanford the year before. So, I mean, I've definitely gone against great competition. And really, the coaching staff, the environment here is awesome. It's a great place to play football, and honestly, just a great place to go to school in general. And so, it definitely helped me with the competitiveness that I have on my teammates here, and just the atmosphere, like I said, altogether.
Well, you certainly seem like you're prepared, for this day, and I think you certainly, your temperament, your mindset seems to be that you're pretty relaxed, and whatever happens, you're ready for that to happen, to go to the next level. Let me ask you about your early days of playing ball. Of course, I asked Chad, when did he start to think that, football is something he wanted to do? Was football something you did your whole life, or just as you got bigger in high school and maybe even bigger in college, you felt that there was a chance? Or was it something that you've always had the desire and the passion to play professional football?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't actually play football until my freshman year in high school. I was always too big for my own age group. And, my mom being the protective woman she is, she never really wanted me to get on the field with older guys. So when I got to high school, my dad took me to the high school freshman coach. Was like, hey, I have this 6'2", 6'3" kid, freshman kid who wants to play. And so, I first went out there, and it was a little hard at first getting to know, football. I never really played before. But, after my freshman year and going into my sophomore year, it's just something that clicked. And from that point on, I was like, oh, this is the game I love. This is something I want to do with the rest of my life. And when I got up to college and all the people surrounding me, I've been blessed to have people who believed in me since I started playing this game, and my coaching staff and everybody who's told me, like, hey, you have a legitimate shot to make it to the next level. Like, you have the size, you have the athleticism and everything. So once, I think I got to college and I started to hear from my coaches and people who have been around, the business of football for so long, and they told me that I had what it took. That's when I really started to believe that, this is something I could really have a shot at.
Well, I'll tell you what, what you just said to me, I mean, that just brings back a lot of memories, and it's those kind of things when you hear people say that, that they've got their head on straight. You got a late start, you got a protective mom. That's great. That says a little bit about your character, and I just wish you the best of luck. Let me ask you, anything that you like to say or share about your experience at university, your coaches, your team, your fans, because now you've got fans, and anything you like to leave them with special that happened to you at the university, and sharing that time with them as a family and a community.
I mean, honestly, like I said, I've just been so blessed, one, to get an opportunity to come to UC Davis to get a great education and to play football. I've been blessed with family, with friends that I've met here and back at home who have just, supported me unconditionally my whole time here. and have, been with me and told me I can do it. And low times and high times, they've been with me the whole time. So like I said before, the atmosphere here has really helped me get to where I am now. But obviously my family back home, my friends, everybody, they've all been a part of, helping me and believing in me this whole time. So I just want to say thank you to all of them, really, and everybody who's believed me along the way. Like Mike, I can't thank Mike enough, for giving me a shot when some people weren't really, willing to take a risk or willing to help me out. So, that's something I really appreciate about Mike.
Well, I think character attracts character, so that's probably why you're with Mike, and just want to wish you the best of luck. Stay healthy, God bless, and take it easy on those strong safeties when they come up there and try to force the run a little bit.
All right, sounds good. Thank you again for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We're going to take a break. Of course, we just got finished speaking with Christian Snyder, and Christian's from UC Davis, and offensive linemen, those big guys. But he's going to take it easy on the strong safeties. We want to take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Rail of Sports on the Voice America Network. I'm in Phoenix, living like it matters.
Your internet flagship station for sports, Voice America Sports.
So Andy Serling packed his bags, left the city, and is enjoying his temporary digs in Saratoga. But that won't stop us from bringing you Playing to Win, the best online handicapping show for serious horse players. Catch Andy and his great lineup of guests every week throughout the month of August on location from the beautiful Saratoga Racecourse. He and his guests are some of the best in the biz. They bring you new insights to making money, and they tell it like it is.
I'm 3-5-1 in this race, but the 3 is very much the one to beat. We're going to completely disagree on this race. I absolutely despise her, especially at 1-2.
And it's anything but the same old horse racing show.
This is a 9-horse field, but really there are 7 donkeys and 2 zebras.
Playing to Win with Andy Serling, a show seriously committed to making more money at the game, but with a personality.
This is a dunce cap horse for me. If this horse wins, next week I got the dunce cap on.
YouBet.com's Playing to Win, presented by the Daily Racing Form. Look for it the day before big race days, mostly Fridays. Find a complete schedule in the Daily Racing Form or click on Playing to Win at YouBet.com.
Music, you know the show. You listen to Rail of Sports on the Voice America Network. I'm in Phoenix, living like it matters. Apologize for the technical difficulties we had early in the show. Had things, a little hiccup here and there. So we were trying to do the best we can to give you a great show, as we always try to do. Got my friend Mike Abadir from SAPROS with me now. We're going to close the show out. Mike, let me just say that I just spoke to 2 fine young men. Obviously, they represent what you represent. It was even nice to hear you talk about you're concerned about athletes today, their health and wellness and safety. And sure enough, when we were speaking to Christian there at the end, Christian tells me how because of his size, his mom didn't want him to play ball too early because she was concerned about his safety. So as I said, character attracts character. So these 2 young men, of course, and you've also prepared them. They didn't talk about, 3rd round, 4th round pick. They didn't talk about 2nd round pick. They just talked about the opportunity to play. So let me ask you, Mike, most of the guys are out there that you're working with seem to be these types of individuals. How is it that you're able to find character ball players? Because I'm hearing something about a guy from Ohio State today. I don't know if it's true. I don't want it to be true. But, you hear things that happen to guys off the field. How are you able to attract the high character individuals?
Well, I think my circle that I associate with, is one of character and integrity. And when you maintain that type of circle, then you're going to be plugged in with other like-minded and, individuals that do have, just good citizens, And so because of that, when Christian and Chad get into the league and do real well, and then they refer me friends, cousins, siblings, whomever, former teammates, current teammates, they're going to refer to me, similar individuals if they associate with, good people. And same thing when it comes to my relationships with the coaches or scouts or whomever. Typically speaking, this is a very relationship-driven business. And referrals are how I'm able to go in, year out, and survive with a lot of the bigger agencies. And because I'm able to consistently get good referrals, and I'm very, very thankful for that, I'm able to, stay in the game. And so because of that, I'm finding myself just thankful and appreciative of the fact that, most of the people that I come across are good human beings, first and foremost. And so I've just been blessed in that regard, and it just the circle keeps growing. And, when it comes to maybe having a sit down with somebody that I just don't feel right about, I'll stop the pursuit. I'm not interested.
Wow.
For me, I want to work with guys who are going to make an impact, a positive impact on their community.
Right.
And to me, that's a priority.
Well,
if you maintain that as a priority, you'll consistently get guys that are of that type of character.
Well,
and so if you're pursuing the money first and foremost, if that's your number one goal, and it doesn't matter to you about their character, then you're going to have to deal with some guys that are going to do some bad things, unfortunately, and have to do damage control. And that's never anything that I've been interested in.
Right. Well, I appreciate that, because certainly that's a reflective. For some reason or other, people just want to broad brush everybody, and once one bad thing happens to one individual, then we all are thrown into that same category. So, listen, like I said, those are some great guys, and obviously you've done a great job of pursuing those folks. We've got about 30 seconds here, so let me ask you. I asked those guys how nervous they were. How's your nerves during this week? 30 seconds.
It's I'm anxious. I'm excited. I don't know if nervous is necessarily the right word. I just want the weekend to arrive so that I could find out where these guys are going to be lacing it up and put, what helmet they're going to have on their heads. So I'm excited for them and praying for them to be in the most ideal situation. And, we'll follow God's footsteps and take it from there. So wherever they land, I'm sure is going to be the right situation. And, I'm excited.
Okay, sounds good, Mike. We'll have to follow up, Mike. You have to come back and we'll talk about it. Thank you for allowing me a chance to interview, of course, Chad Newell from Montana State, a fullback, and Christian Snyder from UC Davis, an offensive lineman. Man, I used to hate those days against those kind of people. But thank you so much, Mike. We'll be in touch. Listen to Ray Ellis Sports on the Voice America Network. I'm in Phoenix, living like it matters, and I'll see you next time, which will be the best time.
Thank you for spending this hour with Ray Ellis Sports. We hope that you've enjoyed today's conversation. For more information and to write Ray, visit RayEllisSports.com. That's RayEllisSports.com. Be sure to join us again next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Voice America Sports Channel.
Thanks again for listening to the preceding program, brought to you on the Voice America Sports Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit VoiceAmericaSports.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit VoiceAmerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the preceding program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect